Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone joining from all over the world. Thank you for joining our town hall, How HEAL Palestine is Operating Under Siege. My name is Steve Sosby. I'm one of the co-founders and executive directors of HEAL Palestine. And I just we're going to go ahead and start. Welcome everyone for joining us this afternoon, this morning. I want to thank everybody for taking time out on this very important discussion. This is more than just an update about our work. It's a reflection of what we've accomplished together in the face of unimaginable adversity. I want to talk a little bit about what that adversity is, obviously, in Gaza. First and foremost, I just want to say how privileged and honored we are as an organization and myself personally, who's been working in Gaza and working for Palestine my entire professional career for over 35 years. How honored I am to be able to do this work, especially at this horrific and sad and frustrating moment in history in which we're seeing complete destruction of the Gaza Strip and ethnic cleansing in the West Bank increasing every single day. How honored I am to be able to help and serve the Palestinian people, as terrible the situation is, and so much respect and admiration for our brothers and sisters in Gaza, for their humanity and their courage in the face of this horrific genocide. Um, I want to thank all of you as we are a grassroots organization, Heal Palestine. We've been around now since January of 2024, and whatever our accomplishments are, whatever our successes are, and obviously they're far short of what the needs of the people are. It's thanks to our volunteers, it's thanks to our donors, it's thanks to the people who are making our work possible, as well as our brave staff on the ground in Palestine, especially in Gaza, who risk their lives every single day to provide the kind of care and services to the people that we're helping on the ground there. We'll be taking questions at the end. We know how important it is to give you guys a chance to ask specific questions. So please just put them in the chat and then we'll get to them at the end of the call. I just want to give you a brief, we're all familiar with what's happening on the ground in Gaza. I don't think you would be on this call if not. But I think we all share one common bond in addition to our humanity, which is a deep, deep desire to do more than what we're able to do or currently doing in the face of this horrific genocide. This is an unprecedented moment in history where we're live streaming the starvation of 1 million children and 2 million people plus, that they're live streaming the massacring and killing of thousands of innocent children, innocent people every single day. These massacres occur in Gaza. We're witnessing them. We're seeing the amputations. We're seeing the horrific scenes of destruction and suffering and hardship on the ground there. And we all want to do more. And hopefully, at the end of this town hall, that you'll feel there is a way that you can be part of the healing process that our organization is providing as a grassroots organization, as a volunteer-based organization. As you know, since October of 2023, Gaza has really endured just a absolute humanitarian catastrophe. It is a genocide, but in addition to that, it's more than that because every one of these children, every one of the people in Gaza has a name. They have families, they have lives. They're people who deserve the respect of being known more than just statistics. But statistics do tell a story here. The scale of this horrific attacks, this crime against humanity, is one that underscores what is truly happening on the ground there. The Gaza Ministry of Health reports that over 60,000 Palestinians have been killed and over 146 injured. And those numbers are very conservative. Those are just the numbers that have been recorded. There are literally thousands of people who've been buried under rubble, who have not been recorded in the statistics because their bodies have not been recovered and because the health system has been utterly destroyed. So that number is probably much higher. And indeed, the Lancet, British medical journal, has reported that nearly 200,000 Palestinians probably have been killed since then. Hospitals and clinics lie in ruin. Only a fraction are functional. There's been over 1,900 attacks on healthcare facilities and personnel, killing hundreds of medical workers. You've seen that. You've seen our doctors in Gaza who've been kidnapped by the military, in some cases even tortured to death. And the vital services that were previous to October of 2023, which we were very active. I've been working in this space for 3 decades and building up health services in Gaza. We built I led the building of a pediatric oncology department in Gaza that's been destroyed. the building of operating theaters at the Indonesian hospital that's been destroyed, building operating theaters in Al-Aqsa Hospital, those are still functioning. I was leading the building of a cath lab at the European Gaza Hospital. That's no longer possible as well. That hospital is not functioning at the moment. So the vital services that are essential for a functioning health system that's been destroyed. Education is shattered. Over 5,000 students have been killed. Around 600,000 children have not had education for 2 years and are starting their third year without education in Gaza. Imagine your child not going to school for 3 years and indeed being educated instead of just in violence and suffering and hunger and displacement. That's the education that Gaza children are getting today. Meanwhile, today Gaza is on the brink of famine. You all know that man-made famine. According to the UN-backed IPC assessments, the worst case famine scenario is underway. 100% of the population faces food insecurity, with 500,000 people in outright famine conditions. This is a result of the blockade, which has been imposed for over 3 months now, and we're suffering from that. We'll talk about that in the aid segment of this presentation. Children under 5 and pregnant women bear the heaviest burden of this famine, and families waiting for food at convoys are too often facing deadly violence. We're going to have someone speak about that. Just 90 were killed yesterday, including many who were seeking just to get food for their families. We're gathering here today not to mourn this, but to acknowledge that we have a duty as individuals and collectively as humanitarians or people who are part of the human race to do something positive in the face of that. What we've done in Heal Palestine over the past year and a half plus is that we have opened a field hospital, which last week treated 23,000 people in just 1 week at our field hospital in Mawasi. This is a major addition to the health system in Gaza. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the health section. In addition to that, we've been feeding people up until the blockade, which has denied our aid trucks to come in. We'll talk more about that. We're going to talk really about the second quarter and the work that we've been doing since this embargo began in early March. That this like deepening genocidal policy of starvation and siege, which has been imposed. We have 50 children who are from Gaza who've now been evacuated for life-saving medical care through our global healing program. That number is actually going up as we have several children right now who just crossed yesterday, the largest single evacuation of injured children out of Gaza coming to the U.S. We'll talk about that in our health segment as well. At the end of the day, this work is only possible thanks to you joining us and supporting our efforts. This is a grassroots organization. We're not here to dictate to people what we're doing. We have our team on the ground who tell us what the needs are, who identify areas that we can have a positive impact. And we're working with our communities all over the world to not only take care of the kids we bring out, but to have the resources and the ability to have a positive impact. This is a very depressing time. This is a very frustrating time. This is a time that should fill each of us with a sense of both deep, deep despair because of we're witnessing the starvation of children, but also a certain amount of anger and rage that comes from knowing the world is allowing this to happen in 2025. What we're asking everyone to do is channel those emotions into positive action. The Palestinians don't need our pity right now. They need real action. They don't need us to stand aside and just like on social media or talk about them as victims, but to give them real support, real solidarity, real love and compassion. That's the message that we have here today in this town hall, and that's what we're going to speak about. So with that being said, I'm gonna now ask that we give you guys kind of we're gonna show a short impact video of our work over the second quarter of 2025. And again, as you have questions that you have about our work or about how you can get involved, please throw those into the chat and we'll be happy to answer them at the end of the town hall. Thank you guys again for joining. We're so appreciative that you guys have made time out of your day to be here. And we look forward to you all joining our efforts and being part of the healing process that is so important right now for the Palestinians. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you had a chance to get a sense of some of the work we've been doing over the past second quarter. We're going to have some of our very important people from the HEAL team talk about the specific areas. HEAL stands, of course, for health, education, aid, and leadership. And all of those are our main pillars of work on the ground there. The most important work right now is aid. We're all here because we see the starvation of the children in Gaza. It's unimaginable that in 2025, starvation is taking place. But we're very honored to have from Gaza our aid manager, Faris Abu Faris, who is a personal friend of mine, in addition to one of the most brave and courageous persons I know. Faris was first injured during the first Intifada, and he and I became friends when I was able to arrange for him treatment back in 1992 or 1993. After being shot in the face by an Israeli soldier, he came to the US, got medical care, and I'm not going to tell his whole story. I will tell you that he's decided to stay in Gaza and help his people, although he had the chance to evacuate. He's one of the bravest people I know. He's been one of the most instrumental persons on the ground in all of Gaza, helping to support thousands of people over the past year and a half plus. So thank you, Faris, for your courage, your humanity, and putting the lives of your people ahead of your own. Faris, do you mind give us an
Thank you,
update?
Steve.
The situation is like in Gaza and your work.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. My name is Faris Abu Faris. I'm the head manager of HEAL Palestine over here in Gaza. What did we accomplish, in the last quarter right now, which is like, it's nothing compared to what we did before, but that's, all because of a blockade and, the siege we going in Gaza right now. So far, like this, this period, we did like 136,000 people that received aid in Gaza and in the West Bank too. We didn't forget about our brothers and sisters over there in West Bank, especially in Jenin and Turkana camps, with the displacement. So we spread our love over there too. So we did, like a Qurban, Udhiyah during this time, of Eid. And the main people were like, we try to target it are the sick people over here in the hospitals and the kids around the area, Gaza. And we did like about 55,000 hot meal. That's until like almost April, until, our kitchen over here and in the south, we're working. But after the blockade, unfortunately, we have no more materials and we shut down the kitchens. And like over about 28,000 people every day get clean water. And this is like right now in danger because of a blockade again, because like we don't have oil or gasoline coming in. So, like we have a lot of challenges right now over here in Gaza, to continue our work and our aid and helping our people over here. And like right now, one of the most challenges, like I said before, like we have two main kitchens, one in the north, one in the south, and they are ready to work. But because of the blockade right now, we have no materials and they are shut down. We have like too many storage units right now. They are empty. Before we used to be full and we used to, distribute, the materials to our people over here in Gaza. But right now it's empty and, and we can't do nothing right now, since like almost after March. There's a lot of challenges, like I said, like before, we don't have gasoline or oil. Like, our main, water planet right now in the south, like it's in the verge of shut down because there is no more oil and no more gasoline. And we have some water well over here. We used to operate it like about 6 days a week. But right now, we only operate like 2 days a week because again of the blockade. So, for me, it's the whole thing, this thing it has to be over very soon. It's this Holocaust, the genocide, this war, whatever you want to call it, it has to be end very soon because our people over here suffering so much. And like with that, but at least right now we need for this blockade to be over very soon and enter AIDS so we could continue our work over here in Gaza. So because for me, like the idea of aid enter into Gaza, it's not about food, it's not about clothes, it's not about water only. It's about telling the people over here that people around the world care about you, people around the world love you, people around the world, scream for you. People around the world, like they shout for you, they go to demonstration for you. So this is the main reason we need to show our people over here love. And there's a lot of challenges facing us. Like one of the challenges I face every day. Like we have a big team over here. Every day, every day I go home. I don't know if tomorrow I'm gonna lose one of my camaraderie, one of my teammate over here, one of my people over here, one of my family over here. So like there's a lot of challenges. I want to tell you about the story why I face every day over here in Gaza. I need maybe like an hour, 2 hours about many stories. I'm gonna tell you a story that's happened to me recently, not even like about 2 weeks ago. It was like about 9 o'clock at night, and it was dark, very dark in my house. And I was going downstairs to check on my mother before I go to sleep. And thank God, at least I have a home, even if it's damaged, because like almost 90% of the Palestinians right now over here in Gaza are displaced and living in tents. But anyway, I heard like a tapping in my door, and somebody like knocking on my door, and I could tell it's like little girl or a baby outside. So I went outside and I opened the door, and I saw this little girl. I swear to God, she's not even 8 years old. She was barefoot, you know what I mean? And she was looking at me, you know what I mean, and told me like Ammo, which is mean uncle. I said, how you doing, Ammo? Well, how can I help you, sweetheart? She told me, Ammo, like some people told me to come to your house to help me. I told her, what's going on? What's wrong? She told me the story. She told me like, I've been running all day trying to secure some food for my family. I mean, like every time I talk about her, like it touched my heart because I got a little daughter in her age. And I said, like, what you mean? She told me I've been outside since like almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, knocking on doors and looking for something to eat. Not for me. That's what she told me. It's not for me. It's for my little sister. She is sick. And I asked her, like, what is your father? She told me my father is Shaheed. He's a murderer. And I told her, where do you live? She told me I live in a tent, like not far away from you. So I went inside the house. I got whatever I could get her. And she told me she asked me for only for 3 loaves of bread. That's what she asked me for, like to feed her family. I mean? And every time I remember the story, it touched my heart. This is one of the stories. When I go in the street, I see kids, picking up flour from the floor and trying to get some food to their family. So, I mean, our mission over here to give hope, to the family, to our people over here. And the irony, when before she leave, and I asked her, like, what's your name? And her name was Amal. Amal means hope. And that's what we need to implement and for our people over here, hope. And, this is the situation in Gaza. Thank you for your support, and we need you to keep support us over here in Gaza because we need it. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Ferris. It's a very powerful story, and I'm sure you've seen that every single day. You actually shared a video with us the other day of a child on the ground just trying to save bits of rice and flour that were in the dirt just so he could eat. These are heartbreaking stories, and multiply that by a million every single day. It's just unconscionable that this world is allowing starvation to take place, but it's people like you, Ferris, that give us hope in humanity. And we hope that you see that not only do we have 240 people on this call today, but literally millions, tens of millions, billions of people worldwide have opened their eyes to the crisis in Gaza, the occupation of Gaza, the genocide of the Gaza people, and are standing with you and are in the streets demonstrating and supporting organizations like HEAL Palestine to give you the support and hopefully put an end to this horrific nightmare. We are with you. Please give the message of love and solidarity to all of the Gaza people from us, Faris, and to know that you're
Thank
not alone.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for your update, and God bless you, and may God protect you, Ferris. I want to introduce also another young man in Gaza who has been working with Heal Palestine now for several months. And it's also, like Ferris, a young man who goes back with me more than 20 years. I believe Odai lost his leg when he was 6 years old in a bombing in Jabalia camp. And as an amputee, has done great things in his life already, although he's still so young. He was able to go to Sudan and get an education. He's back with his family in Gaza and now working with us as a health coordinator in North Gaza. And Odai has been doing a great job despite what his challenges are himself physically and also for his family and the entire people of North Gaza, particularly those from Jabalia camp, which has been completely destroyed. Odai, thank you for joining us, and we'd love to hear what your work is like on the ground dealing with injured patients and also just the day-to-day circumstances under which you operate for Heal Palestine. Thank you for
Thank you,
joining us.
Steve, for your words and for helping in here in our life and our people. But before I introduce myself or say anything else, allow me to begin with what I witnessed yesterday. I was at El Shifa Hospital, a place that has sadly become more familiar with tragedy than with the healing. I stood as a witness to yet another massacre, one of the many that unfold daily at the aid truck entry points. There were so many wounded, and doctors completely exhausted and overwhelmed, trying to save lives with empty stomachs and broken spirits. More than 20 people were killed, all of them young men. But what truly broke me was that sight of an old man. He looked like a shadow of a human being. His bones protruded from under his skin, his face, his ribs, his hands also. All just bones. That image curved itself in deep in my soul. And then the cries of children spoiling as they clawing to the blooded body of their father, a mother collapsing when she learned that her son was killed. This is our reality here, yani. We die while we simply trying to survive. My name is Uday Jamal. I'm a former injured survivor. Today I work as a field health worker with the HEAL Palestine. I'm trying to do something for my people, for the kids here. I lived through 25 years of war, watching my people being killed, displaced, starved, and stripped of their dignity. And yet I continue to survive, not for myself, but for my people here. 4 days ago, I combined a number of children and their families to be evacuated aboard. I saw the tears of their mothers and the worry of their father in their eyes. And I remembered myself when I was like them يعني, in the past. And that gave me a hope and that gave me a purpose to help here the people and the kids. The situation for the wounded kids, the amputated kids also, it's very hard because there is no hospital that can help them here or there is no any medical points that can help them here. And it's also hard to evacuate them out of Gaza to have their medicine or to have the treatment for themselves. يعني we're trying. Uh, at the last, we thank everyone who helped. We thank every donor, every volunteer, every person who shared our voice to the war, who tried to help even with their praise. We need a very soon ceasefire. It's very worse here. It's very bad. يعني, the situation for the kids, يعني, especially for the pregnant women, for the injured boys and girls. That's my story and the story of so many other like me. We are not numbers, we are not statistics. We are a human being trying to hold on life in a place where death knocks daily. يعني, that's the message. And you're the one who's going to deliver it. And I'm sorry, Steve, for my words if it's sad, but that's the reality here. يعني, we're in a real massacre. يعني.
Thank you, Odai. I, we all stand with you and your family and the entire Gaza people, and we share your we stand in solidarity with you, and we are working hard to put an end to this horrific genocide. And please know that you're not forgotten. Your people are not forgotten. These stories will be recorded in history, and there will be accountability one day, inshallah, for these crimes being committed against innocent children and innocent people. Thank you for your courage, your continued sacrifice, your continued hard work, your courage. Everything you're doing to help your people will not be forgotten, Odai. We appreciate it and respect you so much. So thank you for joining, and please don't give up hope. Inshallah,
That's
change
our
is
mission.
coming soon.
Just like you, just like everyone else out there. That's our people.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Moving, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. And please be safe. Um, thank you both for joining us from North Gaza. We're moving on. The E in HEAL stands for education, and the education system, as I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, has been utterly destroyed. And the fact that nearly 1 million children now are entering their third year without any education. This doesn't mean just children, it means university students, graduate students, daycares, and so on. The entire education system's been destroyed. The school systems have been destroyed. But HEAL Palestine is working hard to find ways that we can help rebuild in any way, either on an individual level for individual students or collectively for students in Gaza and those who've been displaced, led by our amazing education manager, Dr. Samar Al-Majad. So, Dr. Samar, if you don't mind introducing your work and thank you for your leadership and your efforts.
Thank you, Steve. Hi, everyone, and deeply happy to be with you today. And thank you so much for attending this town hall to hear. Before I update you on the education pillar, I'd like to say I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee, but now I'm in Amman, Jordan, where we received the largest evacuation, 11 students or 11 children with their siblings and families yesterday in Amman. And it was a very emotional and powerful experience and very personal to me, being from Gaza and growing up going to Gaza through the Jisr, which is King Hussein bridge, brought to me so many memories. And I was very deeply honored to be receiving them and welcoming these families as soon as they got out of the border. They got here. I mean, we have a team of the Global Healing team supporting those students and conducting assessments, medical and mental health and education assessments here in Jordan and getting their visa sorted out before sending them to their communities in the USA. It's such a powerful experience, and I'm grateful for HEAL for allowing me to be part of this healing journey of those children's. With the updates, we all know that from the earliest days of the assault on Gaza, education has been deliberately targeted, and it's a systematic campaign, and now we call it educide. And that's the intentional destruction of education aimed at erasing Palestinian identity and opportunity. And the numbers are showing the scale of the crisis. And according to recent reports by the UN Education Cluster and Save the Children Global Organization, around 85% of Gazan 560 school buildings have been damaged or destroyed since October 23, leaving virtually no operation schools in action. According to UNESCO and United Nations report, more than 600 Gazan students, essentially the entire schooling aged population, have lost reliable access to education. Gazan higher education is not better. Half of 16 of the 19 university campuses are partially or fully destroyed, forcing at least 90,000 university students to stop their education. This is obviously have a long-term impact. Ghazni students have already missed 2 full academic years, with a third year now at risk, significantly affecting their lifelong academic and economic chances. So according to research by the World Bank, each missed year of schooling can reduce a student's lifetime earning potential by about 9%. That's a lot for them to bear. Additionally, prolonged educational disruption dramatically increase mental health issues such as trauma, anxiety, and chronic stress, and that creates a barrier to long-term growth. And it really matters because this deliberate targeting of education is not accidental, as we all know. It's very strategic, and EduSide is a calculated attempt to dismantle the intellectual resilience and undermine hope for future generations. At HEAL, we firmly believe that restoring Gaza begins with rebuilding its education system. So despite overwhelming challenges on the ground in Gaza, we are actively restoring access to learning. And that's by, we have a number of programs that we are engaged with. For example, we partnered with the UNDP and secured 1,000 tablets to help Gazan high school students complete their Tawjihi exams. And this is commonly, it's a final year test, and it will be conducted very soon. I think they announced a date for the Tawjihi test this month, and it will be conducted digitally. We also distributed learning kits for injured students recovering in hospitals to help them stay connected to learning. Also, academic support. We provided academic support for students in mental health programs that we run to integrate education with emotional care. In partnership with Access Academy, we have launched technical training for 50 Gazan students in machine learning, software development, and full stack programming, preparing them for remote tech careers. And we recognize the teachers as key to student success. That's why we have launched ongoing training to help educators identify early signs of trauma, providing an effective support for them, and refer critical cases to our mental health team. In Egypt, we are serving displaced Gazan students, and we have thousands of Gazan families displaced to Egypt. And HEAL is working to create an structured and empowering learning environments. We are supporting 3 Montessori centers in Cairo, serving more than 150 Gazan students and employing over 30 educators and staff from Gaza. We have also successfully supported 75 students through in-person tutoring and exam sessions for Tawjihi students. And this is Tawjihi is it's a common name for the high school test that allow them to and prepare them for university entrance. And we not only provided them with exam prep sessions, we also provided them with skill building workshops, educational materials, and some families, we supported them in their living expenses. They have completed their test in early July, and it was a very successful project, and we have heard very positive feedback from students and their families. That's why we are launching in September another cohort targeting 100 students this time with educational materials and tech devices and academic support, field trips, and skill building workshops. In the making now, we are planning to establish 2 new schools in Cairo to serve up to 800 students, inshallah. In the United States, for Gazan injured children arriving in the USA within the Global Healing Program, education remains a pillar of recovery. Each child is welcomed with a tailored educational tool, and we assess them before reaching the USA and able to identify their needs. We also conduct a standardized testing aligned with the Palestinian curriculum and helping us identifying learning gaps and track progress. and set up customized learning plan, including one-on-one tutoring sessions tailored to each student academic need. I'd like to conclude by emphasizing that at HEAL, our true vision is to foster a culture of educational empowerment, one that goes beyond traditional academics and serve as a meaningful pathway toward healing, building resilient and bright futures for them, and securing lasting financial independence for the students we serve. And with your ongoing support, we are confident we can turn this vision into reality. Thank you so much for your support and for being with us today. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Dr. Summer. Thank you for your leadership and hard work. One of the reasons we started HEAL Palestine, one of the reasons I left my previous organization that I founded and built for 30 years was education. Like, there's so much more that needs to be done. Education is such an important pillar for the Palestinian people, for the Palestinian children, that we're very honored to be able to have an impact in this area. Thank you, Dr. Summer. And this is obviously just the beginning. This is a much bigger work that needs to be done in the future when the genocide is over, God willing, as soon as possible. I want to introduce our next speaker, who will be speaking on the health pillar. The H in HEAL stands for health. And this is the amazing Dr. Zina Salman, a pediatric oncologist who is also a co-founder and board member of HEAL Palestine as a volunteer. I also just want to address one point that's been raised in the comments, but also I get it all the time, which is that people talk about kids coming to the United States, despite the fact the U.S. is responsible for their injuries and for their suffering. This is absolutely true. The United States government is providing the bombs that are killing and injuring our children. The United States government is paying for this genocide. I, as an American, am ashamed of U.S. policy, always have been. Started this work for Palestine back in the first Intifada because I felt, as an American, a deep responsibility for the suffering and hardship of the Palestinian people. But we're not a government organization. We're an organization primarily of Arabs and Palestinians who want to have a role in helping to heal the children of Gaza. And as you all know, there are millions of Arabs and Palestinians and Muslims and people of all faiths and all backgrounds who stand in solidarity in the United States with the Palestinian people and want to have a positive role. And those kids coming to this country for free medical care are coming not through a government-sponsored program, but from individuals like yourselves who make it possible for them to come. So I want to remind everyone that while we all stand in opposition to any government policy which harms others by providing bombs, by providing military aid and other aid to a regime committing genocide, that doesn't mean that we are not able to help these kids and bring them to this country and get them the care that they need. Those are two separate things. And as a non-political organization, we are not involved in the government policy, although, of course, we would all love to see it change as soon as possible to reflect our human values. With that being said, Dr. Zina Salman, I look forward to your update on the work we're doing in the health pillar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thanks everyone for joining today. We're so heartened by the huge audience we have who wants to hear about the work that you all have been supporting, particularly in the second quarter of this year. I'm Dr. Zina Salman. I'm a pediatrician and pediatric cancer specialist. I'm also one of the co-founders of HEAL Palestine. I'm going to give you guys some updates today about the work we've been doing in our in our health pillar of HEAL Palestine. And I'm going to go ahead and dive right in and start talking about our field hospital. As you know, across the board, the healthcare system in Gaza has been completely destroyed and decimated over the last 21 months. That is no secret. And despite the destruction of hospitals, the murder of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and more, we at HEAL Palestine have, through the resilience of Gazan healthcare workers, have been able to maintain medical care when it's needed more than ever before. Our HEAL Palestine Kuwaiti Field Hospital, just in the second quarter, has treated over 250,000 patients. That's over 253,000 patients who've received emergency care, who've received surgery, as well as childbirth. I saw a question in the Q&A about obstetric and gynecological care, and we have been able to provide not only safe vaginal deliveries in a difficult time where that's not readily available, but also maintain emergency cesarean sections when the medicines and supplies that are necessary for those are dwindling so quickly. All of that is thanks to the resilience of over 300 healthcare professionals and the steadfast support of all of you. Now, our next area of healthcare that we're able to provide is medical points. So, when we saw the dire need and the huge numbers of patients coming to the field hospital, we knew that that care was needed to be widespread. And that's why we've opened a medical point in North Gaza, which we just opened in March of this year. And we've treated over 5,000 patients just in the first few weeks. This is a medical point, not a hospital. So, we've been able to provide primary care, mental health care, and occasional emergency support as well. Given that dire need and how we've been able to fill it so quickly in North Gaza, we are now opening a new second medical point that'll be coming soon in Mawasi Khan Yunis. As many of you know, Mawasi Khan Yunis is an area where that's been massive displacement of Palestinians to it, declared as a so-called safe zone. We have been able to serve thousands more Palestinians in Gaza with free emergency care, maternal health, and pediatric care as well. Medical missions. So, in addition to the work that we're doing in Gaza, as our aid manager Faris said, we have not forgotten about the people of the West Bank. And if you're following the news, you know that the situation is quite dire, not only in the north, where they're destroying areas like Jenin and Tulkarem, but also in the south, like in areas such as Hebron, where the needs are so immense due to the settler situation in the south and the lack of access to healthcare, even for Palestinians in the West Bank. East Jerusalem is another area where healthcare has been more developed than in other parts of Palestine, but continues to be a resource for Palestinians to be referred to East Jerusalem, to the two hospitals there, Augusta Victoria and Al Maqasid Hospital. That's where many Palestinians seek medical care. And in Gaza, prior to the genocide, that's where they were being referred to as well. So it's important to us to continue to build capacity for medical care. And we do that through sending medical missions. Our medical doctors from the United States and around the world come into Palestine, not only to treat patients, but also to do trainings and education with the doctors. And we think that's such a critical part of the building and rebuilding of the healthcare sector in Palestine across the board. We completed 6 medical missions in Nablus in the north, Hebron in the south, Ramallah in the center, and East Jerusalem. We've covered pediatric trauma resuscitation, emergency care, urology, and dentistry. And those 6 missions are just in Q2. These missions face serious access challenges. We've had doctors and nurses flying in where they haven't been allowed in due to what's happening in the region with Iran and such, with the escalation in June. Despite this, our mission doctors and nurses are so resilient, and they've made a lasting impact on the local healthcare system and building capacity in it. Mental health. As you all can imagine, the mental health program is such a massive need in Palestine and particularly in Gaza at this time. We talk frequently about the fact that we used to say prior to October of 2023, the majority of children suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, and PTSD was prevalent because of the many wars and bombardments in Gaza prior to October 7th. However, now we don't talk about PTSD anymore because it is ongoing trauma that these children and their families are facing. Because of that, mental health has been such a massive need, and we've been able to serve 431 individuals just in the Q2 of this year with direct mental health services. We do one-on-one therapy, we do group therapy, support group sessions, and we also train hotline responders so that we're building local capacity for frontline mental health support. The need grows every day as we continue to see children who are suffering from severe signs of emotional distress, and we are there at the front lines of providing that care. In addition to mental health support in Gaza, we also provide mental health support in Egypt, as well as the United States for children that we bring here for medical care. All of our children receive care through therapists as well as their family members because of that ongoing trauma. Even when they come out of Gaza, they have family members who they've left behind who continue to suffer and face tragedies every single day. And finally, our global healing program. This one is probably the most visible to all of you because it's an opportunity for our communities in the United States and around the world to really take part in helping to serve these children on an individual basis. One of the most exciting things that I can say about our global healing program is what took place yesterday. Hopefully you're following our social media. Hopefully you're subscribed to our newsletters, and you've seen that we are in the midst of conducting right now the largest ever medical evacuation of children out of Gaza to the United States. 11 children, along with their family members, for a total of 37 people, exited Gaza safely, thanks in part to our amazing partners at the World Health Organization, bringing them to Jordan and soon in the next coming days, so please stay tuned, to the United States. All of these children were greeted immediately in Jordan, not only by our staff of social workers, medical coordinators, our education manager, Samar, who you guys just met, and so many others, as well as volunteers in Jordan, volunteers from the United States who are in our healing communities who happen to come to Jordan on vacation, who've been able to contribute with buying supplies for the families, spending time with these kids, transporting them, and more. In addition to all of that, we are doing assessments. So every child and family member is getting a medical assessment, a mental health assessment, an education assessment, and I would argue, most importantly, a nutritional assessment because these children are facing such severe malnutrition, famine, and starvation as we're all seeing right now. So we're ensuring that every single child upon arrival in Jordan is immediately greeted and receiving all of the care that they need, the assessments that they need, so that as they come to the United States and they will start arriving on Sunday and Monday of this coming weekend, we will be able to have plans in place for every single child's medical care, educational needs, therapy needs, and more. We provide a very holistic approach to this. 9 children were evacuated so far in quarter 2, and these kids are spread out in cities across the country. So if you are interested in knowing if there's a child near you who you can help to provide care for, if you want to apply to be a host family for future kids who are coming out, please follow our social media because you can see all these opportunities. We do have a host family application that you can fill out. We do have WhatsApp groups for every single city, and those are from San Francisco and the Bay all the way to Orlando, Florida, and Boston, Massachusetts. We have kids all across this country. When these kids arrive on Sunday and Monday this weekend, we will have reached 65 total children who have been evacuated through the Global Healing Program to receive this life-saving care. After they come here, they're cared for by these communities. They receive the medical care they need and all the holistic care. In the meantime, when they've completed treatment, Heal Palestine doesn't stop there. Our global healing program is really intended to take care of these children on a very individual basis for the short term in the United States, but also for the long term. So we, after they complete their treatment, they go to Egypt, where a lot of families feel secure because they're closer to the borders, closer to being reunited with their families, but also we can continue to care for them through accommodations, living expenses, enrolling them in our educational and mental health programs in Egypt as well. So we have a long-term commitment to every single child that we care for. We also take them under our wings through mentorship as part of our leadership pillar. And so this is really a holistic approach for the long term. And we really depend on our communities to help support all of these aspects of this care. We think that every single one of these kids who comes out through our global healing program is going to be a major contributor to the rebuilding of Gaza and its society in the future. And that's why we're so invested in these children on an individual level. With that, I can go on for days and days about some of the work that we do through our health pillar, but I think all of us at Heal Palestine truly believe that the voices really belong to the children of Gaza. So with that, I would like to turn this over to our little girl, Hiba, who's in Jordan right now, who's going to tell you her story firsthand. Thank you all so much for being a part of Heal Palestine. And that video is coming any second now. Bear with us.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا اسمي هبة مهنا، عمري 10 سنين. نازحنا على انصراف، استهدفونا في المكان اللي إحنا فيه. صحيت لقيت حالي في المستشفى، بابا استشهد ودرسيد استشهدوا ورجلي انبترت. إن شاء الله أسافر وأركب طرف صناعي عشان أمارس حياتي طبيعية، وبس أكبر بدي أطلع رسامة. إن شاء الله بنشوفكم عن قريب.
Thank you, Zina. And that was Hiba, who is on her way. She's one of the 11 injured children evacuated yesterday, as Dr. Salman mentioned, the largest single evacuation of injured kids coming to the United States. So we're very proud and honored to be able to bring her to the Houston community, where she'll be coming with another child, a double amputee named Abaha. And last week we had another boy arrive, Mohammed, for surgery in Houston as well. Houston is one of our main communities where we're able to get the medical community to open their doors and treat our children. And we really depend on and appreciate the entire Houston community coming forward and helping us with our kids. The Global Healing Program is just one of many that we're supporting right now. As Zena mentioned, this is one of the most visible programs and one in which you can get involved in. Please reach out to us at info@healpalestine.org if you would like to be involved in our existing communities or help us to start one in your community that can support our work, bring an injured child into your medical community where you're located. And we'd love to get back in touch with you about how we can work together. We are a little bit short on time here, but we are going to answer some of your questions. Transparency is such an important part of our work. It's one of the foundations of our values and one of the reasons we started Heal Palestine. So we would love to answer some of your questions. Our development director, Mahdeen, I think is going to help facilitate these questions for us. If there's any left, Mahdeen, if you would like to throw those out there and we'll see who they can be directed to.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Thank you to all the panelists. We got quite a few questions, so I tried my best to combine a few so we can get to most of them. Since we're talking about the Global Healing Program, my first question is for you, Dr. Zena. How are the evacuations of children managed from Gaza? And then what happens once the treatment of these children ends, and where do they go, and how HEAL continues to support them?
Thanks, Mahdeen, and thanks everyone for that, all the great questions that got combined into that. How are our evacuations managed? It is truly a complex process that I think is going to take more than the few minutes we have left on this call. So I'll do my best. Once a child comes to our attention at HEAL Palestine, our amazing field workers like Uday Jamal, who you guys were so blessed to meet today, we'll go out and meet the family, obtain all of their medical records, and really help care for them during their time in Gaza. We submit to the Ministry of Health to ensure that they're on their priority list of patients because they're the ones really seeing the full scale of what's needed in Gaza, as well as to the World Health Organization, who helps to actually coordinate their evacuation. We have to get approvals from Palestine, from Israel, and from the receiving countries. So whether that's Jordan in transit in this case, as well as the United States, to be able to submit them for visas. A lot of logistical processes take place, as you can imagine, and that can take weeks to many, many months sometimes for these children to get out. Once they arrive, like in Jordan, we talk through kind of what happens logistically there. They do have to go to the embassy to receive their visas, and our team manages everything from visas, flights, food. They leave with the clothing on their back, so just even buying their basic necessities is so necessary, as well as our social workers, who are amazing and ensuring that they're getting the care that they need once they arrive in the United States, from community support to host families and the medical care that's set up for them, which is all free charity care. So that's sort of how we set up the program. All of that I just described in 1 minute is, can be weeks and weeks of work. As I mentioned before, they do go back to Egypt, where we provide holistic long-term support for all of these kids.
Thank you so much. The next question is for you, Faris. You already covered this briefly in your presentation, but if you can expand a little more on how HEAL is able to provide aid under the siege, and then for people in Gaza who are struggling to access food and other basic necessities, how can they get in touch with your team on ground and how you can support?
Like I said before, like we're trying our best, but it's hard. Right now, it's very hard to assist anybody over here in Gaza because of the lack of the aid entering to Gaza. And so the only way, to assist our people over here in Gaza is for blockade to be, over. It's the only way, Maddie. It's very hard, it's sad, but this is a reality over here in Gaza. Nothing entering Gaza right now. And even like the minimum of trucks they let in, and what's gonna happen to it, the lurus and the hijacker, and so nothing, enter over here, Gaza, and the prices is skyrocketing right now. It's hard to anybody to survive. So this is right now. So hopefully very soon, we get a ceasefire or we get anything, or so to let us, get our aid. Because we're ready. Like my team ready, our team ready over here. We are eager to start. now the kitchen right now, everybody asking me when. We need to start working on it. So hopefully very soon, they let aid enters and we start helping our people over here in Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking at the time, but hopefully we can take one or two more questions. I just want to remind everyone that we will send an email after this webinar, which will have a recording of this and also key emails where you can reach out to our team, connect with us, and ask further questions. But my next question is for you, Dr. Summer. There were quite a few interest from people who want to support education programs other than fundraising and other than donating. Are there any needs for resources, lesson recordings, whether they're in Arabic or in English, and other ways they can support our initiatives both in Egypt and also in Gaza?
Okay. Thank you, Mahdeen. Definitely every help we can get is truly welcomed. And I think the biggest help we can do individually, beside funding our programs, is tutoring. I mean, we need tutoring sessions. I mean, this month we had conducted or provided to our global healing students more than 700 hours of tutoring sessions monthly, on a monthly basis, because we like we have highlighted in our today's discussion, that they have lost 2 years of academic years, and so the learning gaps is great, and we are trying our best to bridge this gap and identify their needs by conducting standardized testing and tailored learning plans. So any help we can get is absolutely welcomed.
Thank you. And the last question is again, either Steve or Zina, you can address this. We got interest from some medical professionals who want to support HEAL Palestine, whether through medical aid or participating in the medical missions. If you can speak a little about any urgent or upcoming needs or gaps, and how can they get in contact with our team to get involved with medical missions?
Steve, I'll let you take that.
I was waiting for you to unmute. Sure. Obviously, medical missions have a very important role in helping to either rebuild the health system in Gaza and provide urgent care for patients that are in need, which is we're always welcoming and interested in having people who fill a very specific need in Gaza, which is trauma surgeons or specialized surgeons like pediatric neurosurgeons, plastic reconstructive, emergency medicine, NICU, PICU doctors, anybody who can provide a service in an area that is absolutely needed right now in Gaza, we welcome them. In the West Bank, our focus is more on training, because in Gaza, the training component isn't really part of the medical missions, simply because it's such an acute situation. Everything is based on emergency care and responding to the ongoing violence that's being committed by the Israeli government. But in the West Bank, we are providing training, we're providing surgery for patients that need specialized care, and therefore we can expand the kind of specializations that are needed. If you're interested as a medical professional in volunteering to go to Palestine through HEAL Palestine, please email us at volunteer@healpalestine.org. Please include what your specialty is and your CV, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Steve. I see that we are almost 4 minutes over time. So I think we can conclude now. We just want to thank everyone for joining. Like I said, we'll send a follow-up email with the recording and how you can stay involved, get more engaged, and ask questions too. Steve and Zina, over to you for any closing remarks.
I'll leave that to Zina. I spoke last.
All I can say is thank you, because everything we just described, and we tried our best to cram it all into an hour and 4 minutes, but everything we just described is thanks to your support, whether it's as a donor, whether it's because you opened your home as a host family, or spent time driving the kids somewhere, or flew to Jordan to assist greeting children. So many ways that people can get involved with HEAL Palestine. And truly, we built HEAL, or started HEAL, as a grassroots organization with the goal of healing not only the children and people of Gaza, but also ourselves. Watching this horrific violence unfold every single day has been more than any of us could bear. And I know that we all feel that we want to take this energy and feeling of despair and convert it into something positive. And so these small actions that are positive make big differences in the lives of the people that we serve. So this is only something that we can do as a community, a global community. And we thank you all so much for being a part of that. Thanks for joining us today.
And let me just add one thing. Let me just add, sorry, Zena, let me just add one thing is that we have these 11 families coming over in the next few days. If you live in Seattle, the Bay Area, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Columbus, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, Boston, Massachusetts, please come out and welcome them when they arrive. The kids love that. They feel it, we were rebuilding not only their bodies physically, but rebuilding their spirits. They've been so dehumanized as as subjects to this horrific genocide. Come out and welcome them. And if you want to get involved in these communities, just reach out to us, volunteer at healpalestine.org. And we have kids already in communities all over the country. We have kids in Chicago, in Detroit, in Cleveland, in New Jersey, in St. Louis. We have more kids coming to St. Louis and to Baltimore in the next couple of weeks as well from Egypt who've been injured. Volunteer, get involved. This is a time for action. This is a time to stand up and actively work against this genocide and bring love, compassion, solidarity, and hope to the children that are coming and their families. So we hope you guys, if you're not already part of Heal Palestine, join us, make us stronger, and more importantly, let's show the people of Gaza they're not forgotten. The people of Palestine, we stand with them. And that's our message to all of you. So thank you all for joining. Thank you to especially Faris and Odai for joining and for your courage and humanity and for all that you're doing on the ground in Gaza. We are with you. We stand with all the Gaza people. Please express to everyone that they are not forgotten. And to the rest of our team and staff, thank you guys for your hard work. Summer, please give our love to the families who just came over. I know you're doing education assessments for them tomorrow. Please express to them that the world stands with them despite the governments that are against them, and we will continue our work in the most effective and humanitarian way. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.